What's up guys, now that EA no longer has the sole rights to make Star Wars games, I thought it would be fun to come up with some ideas and concepts for Star Wars games that I think would be awesome if they were brought to life. So for this video we'll be taking a look at 3 different game ideas and you can let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. So for some reason the first idea that came to mind was a Mandalorian one. This game would be an online multiplayer game, kind of like Destiny, with a focus on being your own Mandalorian hunter, also having the option to be a regular bounty hunter, like Bosk and Cat Bane. I decided to call this game Hunter's Guild. Hunter's Guild would be mainly centered around group PvE missions, where you and a small group of other players, each with their own unique characters, would go on bounty missions, taking down powerful bosses and enemies together. The game could also feature a set of PvP modes and a smaller single player campaign, maybe even weaving an overarching story into the PvE missions as well. The game should feature a wide range of different equipable weapons, armor and color palettes. Similar to other games where you can mix different helmets and headpieces with other style chest pieces and such, that allows players to create their own unique hunter. The game could also allow for different character builds with their own unique strengths and weaknesses that make online group play a bit more interesting. Maybe like a tank, DPS and healer role or something different. I'm kind of tired of games charging money for cosmetics, so I would want the game itself to be purchased, and it shouldn't have microtransactions for any of the items in-game. All cosmetics and gear should be achievable through playing. I honestly think this would be such an awesome experience to be able to play through, and even more fun with a group of friends. And I'm also not really sure why something like this doesn't exist already, but who knows, maybe it'll be made at some point. The next idea I would like to see is a proper Star Wars Galaxies 2. Now, I don't think this has to be a sequel to the original Star Wars Galaxies. It could be called something else. But I think many fans would love to see a newer MMO type game which has a lot of the same elements that Star Wars Galaxies had. So this would be a proper Star Wars online game that gives players the freedom to live in the Star Wars world, exactly how they want to. Starting with an in-depth character creation screen, players would then be greeted with the Star Wars Galaxy, allowing them to explore loads of different planets in an online environment. Much like Star Wars Galaxies, players would be able to choose between a large range of different jobs and roles, ranging from chefs to bounty hunters to even like moisture farmers, each playing a part in a larger online society pretty much. For a lot of people, video games are a place for people to immerse themselves into different worlds. And there isn't really a game with that focus for Star Wars, even though it has one of the most interesting worlds in fiction, at least in my opinion. Star Wars: The Old Republic kind of has that, but it's still mainly focusing on a linear story. It's definitely a different kind of game from what I'm suggesting here. The third game concept was actually an idea that came to my mind from a comment on one of my community posts here on YouTube, where I asked you guys if you had any suggestions. And this idea came from Nicholas14. Now that we have Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, it would be cool to have a single player story focused game that instead had a dark side main character. This game could show us how the Sith are trained from a young age and all the way until they take their master's place, and perhaps take the story beyond that. In Star Wars, we have mainly had stories that focus on the good guys, the Jedi. The Jedi are all about compassion, protecting others and fighting for peace. But if you've been a Star Wars fan for a little while, you know that the Sith are mainly controlled by selfish emotions, like greed, anger, jealousy and fear. These emotions, however, are just as human as what the Jedi are driven by. This side of Star Wars, the darker side if you may, I find to be very interesting, which is one of the reasons why I care about characters like Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader. Just immersing yourself into a character that is fully driven by these emotions that the Sith are, a character that has reasons for doing this, could be an awesome thing to experience through a well-written video game. I hope this gave you some cool ideas to think about, and maybe even given you the inspiration to come up with some of your own ideas, which I would love to hear about in the comments, by the way. I hope you have a great day, and as always, may the Force be with you.